Welcome back to my channel. Here is our tutorial for today. This beautiful dress. This is the yarn I am using. It's super thin. Recommended 2.5 meter hooks to 3, but I'll be using these two, a 2.5 millimeters hook, and you need a pair of scissors. So make a loop, enter your hook into the loop you have created. Make sure to have taken measurements, so I am going to chain 100. My chain is ready. You're going to add 2, 1, 2. That's like your first half double crochet. Wrap your yarn, skip the first 2 loops into the third with a half double crochet. You pull through all when you're working a half double crochet. Go into the next, pull through, yarn over, pull through all, yarn over, go into the next loop, enter into the loop, pull through, yarn over, pull through all. You are going to work a half double crochet along the entire chain. So this is the half double crochet. I'm getting to the end of the chain. Like that. Our next row, you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, turn your work, wrap your yarn, go into the very first loop with a half double crochet, and work along the entire row with a half double crochet. This first piece of our project, we are only using a half double crochet. So I'm not going to show you much because this is the only thing you need to really know. And this is how it looks. I'm at the end of my row 2 now. One more loop, pull through, and that's row 2. Chain 1, 2, turn your work, repeat the same thing. Start from the very first loop with a half double crochet and work along the entire row a half double crochet. You are going to keep working this to a total of 30 half double crochets. That's if you want to switch to a different color. So I'm going to speed up my video. I'll meet you when I have 30. So these are my first 30 rows. You can see it's beautiful. I love thin yarn because it makes every stitch just super neat and super beautiful. So we are going to wind up here so I can switch. Like I showed you in the beginning, I'm working with both white and blue. So we are done with our 30th row. Chain 1 and cut off the yarn. And we are done with that. We are now going to attach this white yarn. So get your piece, go in the very first loop, yarn over the white and pull through and make a chain of 2. Wrap your yarn, go back in that very loop you worked into and make a half double crochet. This helps us to maintain the same base or the same, I don't know how to call it. So continue working the same like we've been doing. I'm going to fasten my video and work the white to a total of 30. To a total of 30 rows. To avoid dragging the video, I'll show you that I did 30 rows of blue, 30 of white, 30 of blue, and 30 of white to the measurements of my hips. If you know you have wider hips or your plus size, you can make the color even bigger, or you can do 3 of each just to make sure they fit your size. You have to make sure you calculate your measurements to how much rows you want to make of each. And now it's ready. This yarn is stretchy, you can see, and I'm going to fix it to now close off like the piece to a skirt form. We are starting our bottom part, so bring these 2 pieces together, and then you're going to work whatever works for you. Some prefer a slip stitch, others prefer to use a single crochet, others prefer to use a tapestry needle to join their pieces together. So me, I am going to use a slip stitch. So you are going to enter loop to loop, front loop to the back loop. If you don't know how to work a slip stitch, it's easy. You can make a research on it on your own to just make sure you pick a comfortable way of working it. As you can see, it looks super neat and super nice, super beautiful. So yeah, I went with a slip stitch, especially when I have small projects, like using super thin yarn for my projects. I am done. So we are going to do the ribbing for our waist line. You don't need to cut off the yarn, so I'm going to just use the white which I already had on my hook. Chain 1, 2, 3. That's like your first double crochet, and in each single crochet you're going to work a double crochet. Each, not 2. In each single crochet you're going to work a double crochet, because these measurements of this bottom is already the size of your hips. You don't need to stretch it even further. So in each single crochet, put a double crochet. We are at the end of our double crochet. Sorry. And you're going to come on the very first loop and slip stitch like that. And you have to make sure you're working from the wrong side of your work. Chain 3, we are starting with the ribbing. Wrap your yarn, work a front post in the next, through the next double crochet like that. And the next, work a back post, wrap your yarn, go through the back and work a double crochet. wrap your yarn, pass your hook through the front. So this is a front post and back post stitch if you want to search more about it. We are at the end of the row. Come on top of the first loop and pull through. You don't need to turn your work. You're going to do another round, chain 3 as your first double crochet, and now you're going to work a front post with a front post and a back post with a back post. Again, I have reached at the end, so it's 3 rows of ribbing, chain 1 and cut off the yarn. So that part is done. Oh, I love stretchy yarn. So this is how it looks so far. You can put in a waistband, a stretching band, or you can put in a string. It's your choice. So me, for now, I'm going to use a string, but later on I'll switch to, when I want to wear it as usual, I may switch to a waistband. So with the string, I'm going to hold 2, make a loop, and then make a chain long enough to fit your waist. I'm going to fasten my video and I'll meet you at the end of it. My string is ready. You're going to pass your string through the ribbing that you made. So this is my piece, and I'm going to work this. I've showed you how to do this several times, so I'm going to fasten my video. If you're not having any idea about it, you can write in the comments and I will help you. So this is how it looks. You can actually wear this, you know, it's beautiful. I love it. I'm now going to work on this top part of the piece, and I'm going to pick my 2 yarns, the white and the blue, and then I'm going to change to a 3mm hook, because when I join them together the weight of the yarn increases. So make a loop. We are going to work on the draped part of the dress. The measurements that you need is your shoulder to shoulder. So I'm not going to tell you how much you should do for yourself. You need to take your measurements. Mine is 45 centimeters. So I'm going to make a chain long enough to fit 45 centimeters. I'm ready with my 45 centimeters. Hopefully you're ready with yours too. And now you're going to work a half double crochet. So chain 2, skip the first 2 loops into the third and work a half double crochet, and then work a half double crochet along the entire chain. So this is my half double crochet. It's so beautiful. The color mix is beautiful. I'm getting to the end. One more loop. And that's our first row. As you can see, it's beautiful. And then our next row is going to change a bit. So chain 3 and turn your work. Start from the very first loop with a double crochet. In the next loop, we are going to work a bit different. Wrap your yarn, enter, pull through, wrap your yarn the second time, go back, pull through, wrap your yarn, enter into the same loop, pull through all, pull through 2. I'm going to show you how to do this again. Wrap your yarn, work a double crochet into the next loop. So we are repeating the cluster. I don't know if it's called cluster or not, but again, wrap your yarn, go into the next loop, pull up the yarn, wrap your yarn around the hook, go back, pull up the yarn, wrap your yarn, go back, pull up the yarn, pull through all, pull through 2. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's like a bulk, call it a bulk double crochet. And then work a double crochet into the next loop. And then the next one, again, do a bulk double crochet, wrap your yarn 3 times before you pull through and pull through 2. And then work a normal double crochet. It's double crochet, bulk. I'm calling it bulk because you have to wrap your yarn 3 times. And then after, you again do a normal double crochet. And then bulk double crochet, normal double crochet. I'm getting to the end of the row. And this is the last. And then work a double crochet into the next, and the double crochet into the last one. So this is basically our pattern that we are going to use. 1 row, half double crochet, 1 row with this pattern. So our next row, we are going to work a half double crochet. So chain 2, turn your work, wrap your yarn, go into the very first loop with a half double crochet, and work a half double crochet along the entire row. Again, I'm at the end of the row, 1 loop left. So this is the half double crochet row. This is how it looks like. And now we are going to go back to this row. Chain 3, turn your work, work into the very first loop with a double crochet, wrap your yarn, go into the next with a double crochet because they should match. And now this is the cluster double crochet, wrap your yarn, go into that loop with a cluster double crochet, pull up, go back and pull up 3 times, pull through all and pull through 2. And now you're going to work a double crochet, a normal double crochet in the next loop. And then you're going to do a bulk double crochet into the next. Pull up the yarn 3 times, pull through all, pull through 2. Then work a double crochet and then a bulk double crochet. So I'll meet you again at the end of the row. I'm getting towards the end of the row. This is basically the only stitch. No, is it a stitch? No. The only pattern you need. So I'm not going to keep showing you the same thing. I'm going to fasten my video and then I meet you when it's all done. So you have to remember that it's 1 row, half double crochet, 2nd row with a double crochet and bulk double crochet, and then half double crochet like that. I'm going to show you but through a fast paced video. So it's ready. I have 10 rows of each, 10 rows of half double crochet, 10 rows of the bulky double crochet. So I'm getting done. So now we are working again the half double crochets, but this time we are not going to put the bulk double crochets after. We are just going to work a half double crochets to a total of 10 rows. So chain 2, turn your work and work 10 rows of a half double crochet. My 10 rows are done, and I'm going to cut off the yarn, or it's not necessary. You can also just continue, because we are just going to make strings, because this is the simplest dress you can ever make. I love it and it fits perfect. We now have to join the pieces together, and I'm going to switch back to a 2.5 millimeters hook because of the bottom piece. I don't want to be a struggle to use, the loops are really thin. So join your pieces together. You're going to first mark with your stitch marker how many measurements you need, so that you have the perfect measurements. Count 20 from each side with the top piece that you just created. The same this side. Attach your stitch markers just to make sure they are firm, and then come on the piece below. This is 40, which I'm going to equivalent it to the downer piece. So I need to attach my stitch markers. Just make sure you count so that you have the right, because you're going to work in the loops of each. So remember, this is from the white to the end, it's 30, and the blue also is 30. Yeah, so I'm going to take up 40 from each, like 40 from the white and 40 from the blue, and that's a total of 80. But remember, the upper piece is just 40, so you're going to use 2 loops on the bottom piece, equivalent to 1 loop on the upper piece. Just watch. I'm not going to talk, so you can actually see it clearly by yourself. So make a loop. I'm using white yarn, but you can use the blue, it does not matter. And then now watch what I'm doing closely. And then to the very first loop, and the very first loop on the upper piece, you're going to pull through the yarn that you have created. Make a chain, and then go into the next loop on the bottom piece and work into the same loop you already worked in on the upper piece. That's why I said 2 loops of the bottom equivalents to 1 loop on the upper piece. I'm almost done. It looks like a French knot because I am using a single crochet to fix this. If you want, you can use a slip stitch, but I went with a single crochet. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it earlier, but you can use any. I just chose this one and it's amazing. So I'm done putting it, joining the two pieces together, and it's beautiful. It's as good as finished because it doesn't need any much work. Like I said, it's the easiest piece you can make. And now I'm going to fix the edges of the top part, and I am going to use a 3mm hook because it's the same hook I used on the upper part. So make a loop, start from whichever corner, and make sure you're working from your wrong side of the piece. Enter into the first loop, pull through, chain 3 and chain 1 more as a skip loop. So you're going to skip 1 row into the next and work a double crochet, and then after that work a double crochet along the entire piece, where each row you insert 2 double crochets, and in the row of half double crochet you put 1 double crochet. I am getting to the end. Rather than cutting off the loop, you can also decide to just create the chain automatically without having to first cut off the yarn and all. So I'm just going to continue working the chain. So chain 1 and go back into the same loop with a double crochet, the very last loop you worked in, and then put another double crochet to just give you that turn, because now we are going to work on the chain, and this is the same thing you'll work on the other side. So chain 1, 2, and then you work, go back into that next loop, not that but that same loop with a double crochet, and then chain 2. Yeah, it's the same. I've used this a lot. Turn your work, go into the loop with a double crochet. You don't have to use this method. You can also use what really makes you comfortable, or what you're comfortable working with. I just love when the strings are a little thick, because some clients get irritated when the string is really slim. So now my piece is done, and if you have any accessories you can attach, because I will. So this is how it looks like. It's absolutely beautiful and I love it. And this is the back. Very simple but very beautiful. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and comment below. Support me. I appreciate all that you do for me. And see you in the next video. Bye bye.